Retro for Friday, January 31st, 2025. And in this episode of Friday Night Retro, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with a 7-inch PC compatibility card in our Power Mac 7600. So, just to go over some things, our Power Mac has 128 megs of RAM. We'll turn virtual memory off in a little bit, but it doesn't have a 604 PowerPC processor. This Power Mac has a Sonnet G3 upgrade card, 500 megahertz with a 50 megahertz system bus, 32K cache L1 and 256K cache L2. So I have the 7-inch model of the PC compatibility card. This version has the 100 megahertz 586. I believe it's the Cyrix compatible processor. It has 8 megabytes of RAM on board. It does not share RAM with the main system, and it doesn't window in the monitor. It switches the display. It uses the full screen. But what I thought we could do is I've made both discs for MS-DOS 6.22, and I also have a Windows 95 OSR 2.5 CD, which I think might give us some flack now that I think about it, because that release of Windows 95 was only available to OEMs. Once hard drives started coming with computers that were bigger than 2 gigabytes, if you can believe it or not, because FAT16 only supported volumes that were 2 gigabytes. And the biggest benefit that OSR 2 and 2.5 for Windows 95 was to use the FAT32 filing system to format drives up to 4 terabytes. So what we'll do is we're going to start the PC. It does not automatically bring the window up. We have to click switch to PC. There is a keyboard shortcut, open Apple Enter, which will bring you back to the Mac OS. So we'll take the Windows. So what are the other discs that you have to make that did not come with the PC compatibility card that I got? I did get the original box. I got all the original cables that I needed, including this very important cable right here that connects to the display output on the machine and the display output on the PC compatibility card. Now, the 7200 motherboard has an interesting connector. You don't need this cable. There's a connector on the system board itself that uses a ribbon cable to connect the PC compatibility card. I thought that was really how unfortunate that they did not continue that with the 7600, the 7500, the 7300. Okay. Let's try putting this disc in here. There we go. Hopefully this works the way we want it to. Just need to reposition And here's the original setup for MS-DOS. We'll say enter. Actually, I'm just going to go back real quick to the Mac OS. So the okay. So the PC setup control panel for the card can use physical hard disk connected to the SCSI or IDE bus of the computer, although I don't have any attached right now. The other thing that it uses is drive files, which unfortunately can only be up to 1023 megabytes, so just shy of a gigabyte, which I don't think they might have overcome that with a later version of the PC setup control panel, which was developed by a third party. But anyway, let's switch back to the PC. And just so you can see that we are, 1:31:25 and it's 9:05 p.m. I might have to burn another sorry, distracted there, because we are streaming this later than we usually do on Friday night. Well, was just letting some of our normal viewers know that, hey, we are streaming now. So I don't remember the keyboard shortcuts for this. Because I don't have the documentation. I do have the PDF, but I don't have it loaded right now. So I'll just come back to Mac OS whenever I need to swap disks out. Well, that's not good. Well, let me try ejecting this again. I'm wondering, like, okay, if I switch to the PC and then okay, so that's what I have to do. So once we get this installed, we'll go through some of the things that are in MS-DOS 6, especially that I used when an MS-DOS 6 machine was my daily driver. Microsoft Works 3 for DOS was my daily productivity application until spent more time in Windows 3.1 and then eventually Windows 95 and Windows 98. course, not necessarily a hard stop at 10 o'clock, but we'll get this installed. We'll see if we can install Windows 95 OSR 2.5. Yeah, maybe, right? And if we can, great. And if we can't, well, we'll just have to burn another CD at another time. Um, Maybe do more in next week's episode. But we'll do the usual thing. We will. Well, let me. Oh, okay, that works. All right. I use the Open Apple E key. Oh, because I put the wrong disc back in. My bad. What's 2230? 1030? You mean 1030? Well, as we do every week, we'll just want to get our usual okay. Awesome. So let's gonna try something because we've only got 8 MB of memory, although we can expand it. Two more. I'm gonna run. Let's run. Um, Actually, I'm gonna run. We're gonna run drive space. We're gonna make a compressed volume. Although no, you want to know what we need to do first? Need to install the Apple PC compatibility card drivers first. So let's. Oh my. Okay. Set up. No, it's not Windows 3.1. I do not have Windows 3.1 discs made, and it would certainly take too long tonight to make those. But if you think it might be a good idea, make it. We can do it for next. Yeah, no. The next episode. Yeah, supply changes directly to system files. Okay. Did it restart? Yes, it did. Okay. Awesome. So now that we have CD-ROM drive letter, the PC compatibility card, even though if there isn't a hard drive at drive letter D, you don't have the image file. Sorry, not the image file. If you don't have the hard drive file for hard drive D, the system still chews up the drive letter anyway. So your CD-ROM letter is always going to be E on this. I mean, might be able to tweak it if you go through and you tweak the auto exec, but I'm like, I'll, I'll leave it alone. Okay. Whoops. Yeah. Uh, fine. Fix it. Well, I'm not going to go through the Windows 95 setup right this second. I'm going to go back to MS-DOS, going to look at a couple of the things, going to look at the doesn't accept any CPUs. It's soldered on to the card. A while back, I had a Power Mac 4400 with the 166 megahertz Pentium. Uh, I do kind of regret letting go of that system, but when space is tight and you really don't want to buy a a storage unit, you don't. So anyway, I'll wait for this to finish doing what it's doing and get me back to the prompt. All right, go back to Drive C. So first thing we're gonna do is I hate having temp files around. Well, we're gonna play with drive space. Let's do custom setup. Compress an existing drive. I like using the last drive letter of the alphabet. No, we're not going to back it up. Let's see how long this takes. Oh boy. Yeah, compress it anyway. It's the same. It's the same monitor. You can use. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, according to this, you can use dual monitors with this thing. Um, I think this is joystick port, but yes, you could use. I could use dual 15 pin displays, Apple 15 pin displays, um, if I wanted to. Yes, because what you do is you plug the Apple um, monitor right into the Apple monitor port, and then you plug the monitor you want for PC right in here. There. If the microphone is still scratchy. Whoops. I'm gonna. Okay. If the microphone is still scratchy, it might be an issue with the iPhone I'm capturing it on. Let me know. This is peculiar. Usually, press the Alt key. Oh, doesn't like this at all. Restart. Yep. I will say one of the things I do miss. I'm not gonna leave it. I'm not gonna leave it turned on. I do think though that with this Macintosh there is an issue with the memory or cache or something, and I need to find either a hardware test disk or some third party diagnostics to run on it, because the machine has been freezing to the point where doing certain things where it's completely unresponsive. Yeah, okay. We're gonna turn it off because it really doesn't get me a whole lot of more space. Like I'm thinking, like I'm gonna get like a big compressed drive, and instead it just gives me two smaller drives. I'm like, well, that's not what I want. We'll try compress. Oops. Compress tools. Uncompress. Yes. Of course, I think this is the one that's going to give me a whole bunch of flack. Will not let me do it without a surface scan. Oh, yeah. Talk about a. Okay. Well, clean RAM contacts is real easy. Replace RAM sticks with faster ones is going to be difficult because these use 5 volt, and I'm having a hard time finding the DIMMs on eBay right now. Can't There used to be a company called DMS, Data Memory Systems. They were in New Hampshire. They were acquired by a larger company not too long ago, and their specialty was Macintosh hardware, particularly legacy Macintosh hardware like this. Um, and I emailed them a while back to say, hey, what do you have for Power Macintosh 7600s? And no answer. I mean, I figure that's unfortunate. They probably don't make any money on that anymore, and so I've been looking on eBay and I haven't been finding anything there either that's not cheap. In fact, the best bet, next best thing was, oh, somebody's got a beat up 77X100 motherboard that still has the RAM in it. No. Um, this came out of the 7200. I tried these in here. I don't know if they're not compatible. Um, no, the PC compatibility card has got its own RAM soldered onto its card. It also has a single 100. Yeah, it also has a sim like this, and I don't know if these will work in it or not. I haven't tried it. Maybe I can. I try not to take the once the cards go in. I try to leave them in there unless I really have to take them out. Honestly, though, I like when I think it when I think about this, like right now, the my blue Scuzzy has a 64 gig SD card, and on that 64 gig SD card is an 8 gig hard drive image file, HFS Plus for Mac OS. And then in that image file, there's a one, there's a 1 gig PC, PC, uh, virtual hard drive file. So I just think that's kind of interesting. Nested virtual hard disks. I could. They're not a real not a real Macintosh emulator. Um, there was a product released in the late '90s called Executor, and it was a clean room implementation of System 7 on Windows. If you're talking about DMS, the company that bought them is Nemix RAM. Well, once this finishes doing its scan and the uncompression will be fast, we'll try installing Windows 95. You look 24. Don't mind me. I'm just responding to somebody who, yeah, one of Nicole's friends who just had a, what do they call that? It's like an injection, Botox injection. Almost there. Okay. I remember first time having to use drive space. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. Okay, all right. Oh man. Ugh. I did not want to cancel that. Oh, of course, because I'm here. I am an idiot, kicking, yeah, pressing wrong keys. They put the escape key right next to the arrow key on this keyboard. Well, we'll go through it again. I don't know. We'll see how fast we can go in the next 21 minutes. Well, I think if to get back to Sergio's comment about the dims, I think the ones that I have are 64 megabytes. I need to look at the documentation if I can see if where I downloaded it. Find the. Okay, I've got it loaded, and we've got it loaded up on my other computer. Okay, page 133. Your PC compatibility card has one socket for available RAM. Some versions of the RAM come with a DIMM already installed. In these cards, you increase by replacing the installed DIMM with a greater capacity DIMM. Yeah. The DIMM accepts an 8, 16, 32, or 64 meg DIMM. For more information, see Appendix D. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Appendix D, where are you? Appendix C, Appendix D. Okay. 7-inch PC, compatible PCI card, 5x86 microprocessor, 128K out to cache. One socket for one 168 pin DIMM, 70 nanoseconds or less. Expandable to 64 MB. And of course, it talks about particular types of configurations. 16 megabyte or greater DIMMs must have the configuration 256K by 64. Other configurations with a 4K refresh rate will not work. Oh, pardon me. Unfortunately, so this Apple high resolution color display has a maximum resolution of 640 by 480. So whatever I have. I don't know ordinance. Hmm. Okay. Yep, we sure do. we'll install some Windows 95 next, or try to get as far as we can, and then watch Windows throw us some BS about being a full version and us needing the upgrade. Well, let's just not gonna do that. Okay. Setup detected an invalid long file name. There isn't one, but oh, okay. Because it's squawking about. All right. I remember the first time I ever installed Windows 95. 13 floppy disks, was it? 14 floppy disks? So, what should we do here? Should we do typical, portable, compact, or custom? Although I'm thinking we're going to do custom, and I'm just going to just put that off screen temporarily. And okay. And there's supposed to be a network adapter, and there's a sound and a capture card. Hopefully this does not blow up. So I figure as long as the little blue light that indicates drive activity on the blue SCSI doesn't turn off, then it hasn't locked up, and I guess that's the best part. Right, Studio Cat? Okay, we're gonna go through. We're gonna fill this right. Whoops. Fill this right up. Turn everything on. We're not gonna do the fax. Oops. Or the Windows. Can we do Windows messaging? Yeah, I suppose we could. All right, so we're not gonna do NetWare. We're not gonna do IPX, but we are gonna do TCP/IP. Okay. Windows logon. And I'm just gonna say PC on Mac. Window. What does it say? PC compatibility card. Yep. We're not gonna do the startup disk. Wow, I'm kind of surprised it's letting me do this. Usually these OEM CDs say, you know, there's already an operating system on here because it does have DOS 6.22 and to format the disk and install with nothing on it. But it's willing to do it. remember the first computer I had. The performance on it. The performance of the computer. It was a 486 upgrade chip and a 286 system board, and um, the only way I could get any decent performance out of it is I actually had to put Windows in, start it in safe mode. Essentially, start Windows 95 in safe mode. No, I was gonna say, thankfully, installing off a CD is faster than floppy disk. That is for sure. I know, doesn't it feel like go paint your house, snow blow your. Sorry, a little bit quiet. Just to happen to be doing some work here while we're waiting for this thing. Could you send some of that 70 degrees up here? I was just gonna see if I can get the camera. The thing I can't figure out is I'll agree with that. Shipping going to be super expensive. Like shipping the whole of computer reset to the Northeast. Hard to believe it's been three years now. 3 years. Oh, Hurley do need to make some plans. I would like to get to VCF South by Southwest. That would be, I think, a great trip. I'm going to Chicago in April for a conference, but that VCF is not going to be there then. Like, did it lock up? Nope, just taking its sweet time. Well, I'm certainly not going to. Bring anything to exhibit. That's the thing. I wouldn't. I don't know how I would get it there, and I wouldn't want to ship it there. There's the AT. There's the PC with the expansion unit. When I was like both of those pieces are the cornerstones of the PC side of things, and I'd be too afraid of them getting trashed. I'm like, that's my thing. Like, how do you? I thought about selling the PC and the expansion unit to another collector for a lot of money, and people were giving me a lot of flack. Oh, it's not worth that, and it's probably not. But then okay, you find all the pieces and you put it together for less, and if you can, um, I'll pay you that. But I'm like, no, nobody can find a original PC that works all very well, uh, with the cards that connect it to the expansion unit. Find two full height 20 meg drives that still pass complete diagnostics with zero bad sectors, zero defects on the defect table. And I actually should upload it later, but I took a video on my on the phone that's not connected to this channel about the importance of running diagnostics on your old machines, your spinning rust. I mean, I do know it's moving. It's just move. This used to be one of my tricks, right? Like if I wasn't sure, I would take the mouse pointer and just move it to where the bar was, and then disappear and go do something else, and then would walk by the computer, see if the bar moved past the pointer. Like I was gonna say, like I came of age of DOS in Windows 3 and Mac OS 7, 8, and in junior senior high, Windows 95, and we got the Windows 90, the Office 95 boxes with documentation, real books. And I think that that's one of the attractions to vintage and legacy media is here is some instructions, and these actually had to be thought out very well in advance, because unlike today, you just couldn't say, "Oh, to hell with it," and we'll fix it later. So close. So very close. Well, here we go. Okay. That doesn't bring you back. Nothing will. Well, I'm going to cancel that. Let's see here. Just kind of curious if there are any other. is doing something. Well, the hard drive light, there we go. And I was going to say, the indicator light is still on, so it's doing something. Well, we're certainly not in the Pacific time. We are in Eastern time. Well, that's not going to work. We'll cancel the setup. We're not going to set up a printer. Cancel. Here we go. So actually, I think one of the issues is even though Apple supported Windows 95 on this thing, once it starts and we get back into it, we're going to see, haha, that it has only 16-bit device drivers, which is going to force Windows 95 to operate in a reduced compatibility mode. We just want to see if we can get some sound out of this thing. Well, alright. Yep, that's what I thought. Compatibility mode, haha. I forget. There is something that we can. I think there is something that we can do to change that, but I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out exactly. what we need to do. And that will have to be for another episode when. Well, all right. Okay, hold on. Whoops. I forget when IPCFG. PPP adapter. Okay, so it doesn't actually have the. Might have to install the. Drivers for it later, right? Probably. Yeah, we'll have to take some time in another episode of Friday Night Retro to, do some explorations. Find setup, apply. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Internet Explorer 4. Can't connect the internet with it, but nothing this weekend. There's going to be no encore this weekend. I am going to be traveling not too far away, but not sure. Excuse me. What time I'm going to be back? So, I mean, if you do want to stick around for the installation of this, you can. Um, there's actually Microsoft Plus software on here. takes forever. Okay, so there's an updated version, that third party software that was available to update the PC setup that will solve the DOS compatibility mode here. I wonder, is the performance monitor installed on here? This kind of reminds me of running Windows 95 on that. Well, don't have performance, but I guess resource monitor will work. Huh. Go figure. Settings, control panel. Yep, Cyrix CPU with 8 megabytes of RAM. me see here. While we're looking at this thing here, I'm gonna see if I can try to find the sound control panel. Okay. Device manager. Was it the device manager I'm looking for? Okay, yes. So apparently there's a sound issue. So double click the resources, uncheck, and then basic configuration 0. Okay. Okay. My oh my. Well, I'll tell you what, if this was any slower, because unfortunately you can't pause the setup. But I think I might actually do it. We're going to shut this down. Well, I thank you for joining me on this Friday night retro, where we took a look at the Apple PC Compatibility Card, the 100 megahertz 7-inch version. And for the next time we meet next Friday, we'll probably continue with this, maybe try to do some more things with it. But if you have other ideas, go ahead and post them in the comments.